My name is Miriam, and I was just 15 years old when this story took place. 15 is a confusing age, caught somewhere between being a child and stepping into adulthood. I was still a schoolgirl, still holding on to innocence, yet slowly beginning to notice the world in a different way. My worries back then were simple. My school marks, what clothes I would wear at the next family gathering, or whether my friends would include me in their plans. I never imagined that danger could exist so close to home, hidden behind familiar faces I trusted. It was during summer when my parents decided we would visit my aunt's house in a nearby town. I loved going there because her home was bigger than ours, filled with cousins, noise, and the smell of freshly cooked meals. My aunt was always affectionate with me, and I enjoyed every visit. I looked forward to seeing my cousins, playing games, sharing secrets, and staying up late together. One cousin in particular was just a few years older than me, and I thought of him as an older brother figure. I laughed with him, trusted him, and never doubted his intentions. To me, he was family, someone I felt safe around. That day at my aunt's home was cheerful. We ate dinner as a family, everyone joking and chatting around the table. I helped my aunt in the kitchen, and she kept saying how much I had grown up. My cousin also joined the conversation, teasing me lightly in ways that felt harmless. Nothing seemed unusual or unsafe. The night appeared perfectly normal, but what happened later changed me forever. When it was time to sleep, my aunt told me I could use her room since she needed to stay with her youngest child in another room. I felt secure. After all, this was my aunt's house, my family. I lay down on the bed, still in my shalwar kameez, covering myself with a thin sheet. The ceiling fan moved slowly, and the heavy summer air made the night feel quiet and calm. A little while later, my cousin entered the room and lay down on a mattress near the bed. I didn't think twice about it. We were relatives, and I trusted him. I turned on my side and closed my eyes, ready to drift into sleep. But sometime after midnight, I woke up to something strange. At first, I thought I was dreaming. A faint touch on my hand. My heart skipped a beat, and I opened my eyes. The room was dimly lit by the glow of the corridor light slipping in from under the door. That was when I noticed him, my cousin, no longer lying on his mattress. He had moved closer to my bed, his hand sliding onto my blanket. For a moment, I froze. My body stiffened in disbelief. My mind refused to accept what I was seeing. I whispered nervously, "What are you doing?" My voice trembled. He hushed me, whispering back, "Shh, don't worry. I just want to be close to you." My blood turned cold, fear surged through me. I pulled the blanket tightly around myself, shifting away from him. "No," I said softly but firmly. "Please go back." But he didn't stop. His eyes looked different, dark, hungry, not like a cousin, not like family. He reached for my arm, and I pushed his hand away. He leaned in closer, whispering things that made me feel dirty and unsafe, words no girl should ever have to hear from someone she trusted. Tears stung my eyes, but I kept saying no. I tried to push him away, though he didn't seem to care. At that moment, I realized something painful. The cousin I trusted, the one I laughed with, was not who I thought he was. I wanted to scream, but fear held me back. What if my aunt heard and blamed me? What if my family thought I had somehow encouraged him? A storm of thoughts silenced my voice. He grabbed my wrist tightly, and I whispered again, desperate, Please stop. I am your sister. Don't do this. But he only smirked and said, No one will know. It's just between us. Those words crushed me. To him, my silence was enough permission. I kept struggling until finally I pushed him away hard enough that he stumbled back. Shaking, I sat up and warned him in a firm, low voice. If you touch me again, I will scream so loudly the whole house will wake up. For a moment, he froze. Fear flickered across his face, and he returned to his mattress without another word. But the damage was done. My night was ruined. I didn't sleep again. I sat on the bed curled up in tears, clutching my blanket as if it could protect me. That night changed me forever. I realized how fragile trust can be and how easily innocence can be shattered. Even though he hadn't gone further, the attempt alone scarred me deeply. I kept asking myself, why me? What had I done wrong? But deep inside, I knew the truth. It wasn't my fault. It was his. The rest of that night felt endless. I sat on the bed, trembling at every sound the house made. The silence between me and my cousin was heavier than thunder. He had turned his back, pretending to sleep, but I knew he was awake. I kept whispering silent prayers, begging Allah to protect me until morning. Tears rolled down my cheeks, soaking my pillow, and I hugged myself tightly. When the first rays of dawn slipped into the room, I finally felt a small relief. The birds outside were chirping, and I felt as if I had survived a storm. When my aunt came into the room later, she smiled warmly and asked if I had slept well. My lips trembled as I forced a smile and said, Yes, Auntie. Inside, I was breaking. That is the hardest part of being a girl sometimes. You hide your pain because you fear no one will believe you. The next day passed in a blur. My cousin acted completely normal, laughing at the dining table, joking with the others, even helping my aunt in the kitchen. His fake smile made me sick. I avoided him as much as I could, but under the same roof, avoiding wasn't easy. Every time he passed near me, I felt my body stiffen. Every time his eyes lingered, my stomach twisted. My mind screamed at me to tell someone, but my voice remained trapped. What if my aunt blamed me? What if my parents thought I was lying? These fears grew heavier with each passing day. At night, sleep wouldn't come. I kept replaying that moment again and again, his hand on my wrist, his whispers, his smirk. Even though nothing had fully happened, the memory itself made me feel dirty and ashamed. I tried bathing again and again, hoping the water could wash away the feeling, but the stain was not on my skin. It was inside my heart. Then one afternoon, something happened that gave me the courage to finally speak. I was sitting with my little cousin, a girl only 9 years old, watching her play with her dolls. She was innocent, laughing happily without a care in the world. Suddenly, a terrifying thought entered my mind. What if he tried the same thing with her one day? That thought made me shiver. I knew I couldn't remain silent anymore. When we returned home from my aunt's house, I gathered all my strength. After dinner, I went to my parents. My hands were shaking, my throat dry, but I whispered, Ami, Abu, I need to tell you something important. They looked at me with concern. My mother held my hand gently and asked, What is it, Miriam? Tears rushed down my face before I could even begin. My father grew alarmed and asked. When I finished, the room went quiet. My mother's eyes filled with tears as she pulled me into her arms. My father's face turned red with anger, his fists clenched tightly. "How dare he?" my father shouted, his voice shaking with fury. "He calls himself family, but he is a disgrace." My mother stroked my hair and whispered, "Why didn't you tell us sooner, Miriam? We will always believe you. You never need to carry this pain alone." For the first time, I felt safe. I realized I should never have doubted my parents. They didn't blame me. They didn't question me. They believed me. The next morning, my father went straight to my aunt's house. I didn't go, but later he told me what happened. He confronted my cousin directly, his voice sharp and filled with rage. At first, my cousin denied everything, but when my father threatened to go to the police, his face turned pale. He begged for forgiveness, saying it was a mistake, that he had lost control. But my father didn't soften. He told him, "You are not a man. You are a disgrace. You will answer for this." That very day, my father filed a complaint with the police. It wasn't easy. Some relatives whispered that it would bring shame to the family, but my father stood firm. He said, "The shame is not ours. The shame is his. If we hide this, he will hurt more girls." For the first time in my life, I saw real courage in my parents. They stood by me no matter what others said. The case moved slowly, as cases often do, but my cousin was taken into custody. For me, it wasn't just about punishment. It was about justice. It was about showing him and everyone else that silence only protects the abuser, never the victim. Still, the pain didn't vanish overnight. I woke up crying some nights. I flinched when someone touched me unexpectedly. I carried shame and fear inside me. But slowly, with my parents' love and support, I began to heal. I started writing in a diary, pouring out my pain, my fear, my anger. Writing became my therapy, my way of turning tears into strength. And then I realized something powerful. What happened to me could happen to any girl. But if I share my story, maybe another girl will find the courage to speak up earlier than I did. Now, as I look back, I know one thing for sure. I was not weak. I was not guilty. I was brave because I spoke. My cousin thought my silence was permission, but my voice proved him wrong. To every girl listening to me now, don't stay silent. If someone makes you uncomfortable, no matter who it is, tell someone you trust. Silence protects the wrong person. Speaking protects you. I was only 15 when this happened, but instead of letting it break me, I turned it into my strength. Today, I stand taller, wiser, and stronger. And I want every girl to remember, you are not alone, you are not guilty, and you are capable of building a life filled with dignity and dreams. Darkness never lasts forever. Even the longest night ends with dawn, and your courage can become your sunrise.